Hi, my name is Joseph, and this is my Twitter handle and my email. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about the engine, if you need help or anything. So I'm a technical evangelist for Unreal Engine. I recently started, and I'm mostly covering the MENA region. Okay, so a little bit of my background. I've been using Unreal for over 5 years now, and I've been using it also for my own project where we work on archaeological sites. So it involves a lot of photogrammetry, and we're trying to make the game very optimized to run in VR. So we solve a lot of problems in performance and while keeping high fidelity graphics. I also worked with architectural companies, and as well I founded Lab Game Dev, which is a community initiative to help the community grow in Lebanon. And I teach the Unreal Engine at St. Joseph University of Beirut. So, a quick history of Epic Games. The company is around 30 years old. It's relatively small, so it's less than 1,000 employees, and it's scattered all over the world. The HQ is North Carolina. However, we do have 16 offices around the world, including USA, Canada, UK, Germany, Japan, etc. So the company is still privately owned, and it's still run by the founders. So it's the same people who started the company 30 years back. They're still working on at the company, and they're making games, basically. And we just want to make cool stuff. So we made a software called Unreal, and we use it to make games, basically. 100 of AAA games have been made in the last few years, and Unreal Engine 4 was launched in 2014. It went free a year later, and ever since we have 5 million users, and now we have 10K users daily using the engine, which is 3 times faster growth in the past year, basically. Now, we don't just make the engine, we use it to actually make our own games. So you might recognize some of those titles over the year, like Gear of War, Infinity Blade, Unreal Tournament, which is one of my favorite games, and we have also Fortnite. So it's a little bit popular right now. And yeah, so we use our tech to actually make those games, and it helps us to validate the workflow. It helps us make the tools more efficient. Find the next tool lots of developers need, and then add them to the engine out of the box. So I'm just gonna go over some of the games that have been made recently. So you have Unreal Tournament. And an interesting point about Unreal Tournament is that you can download it inside of the launcher, and you can access the source code and the art and dissect it. You can learn from it. There's also Robo Recall. So making robots right now in PBR is very easy, but making them run at 90 FPS, 2K resolution twice for VR is very challenging. And also you can find Robo Recall inside of the launcher, so you can dissect it as well. You can see all the tricks and optimization we used to get the performance. And also we have a lot of live streams and videos covering how the tools and technique we use to actually achieve those results. There's also Battle Breaker. Now, it is worth noting that Unreal Engine mainly is not 2D focused, but every once in a while we do make a 2D game. And there's Spyjinx. I'm gonna tell you absolutely nothing about that game. I just put it here to tease you a little bit. Okay, and finally Fortnite. So, the way we see the industry a little bit now shifting is toward high-end mobile. So we're gonna see more PC-like titles running on mobile, like the full game. So let's take Fortnite, for example. It's absolutely the same game, same branch, same project. It's packaged to run on Android and iOS. And basically, the optimization we made to actually run that game are already inside of the engine. So you can access it right now. You can make this type of games and release them on mobile. And a lot of our partners have already done so. Even there's Legion, who was released 2 years ago, who have been like a MOBA, 50 versus 50 people, running on mobile. And those are just screenshots of Arc, PUBG, and Legion running on the latest generation mobile. Now, there's also cross-platform. So a lot of people are targeting cross-platform in their games. We've seen Rocket League do it between uh, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So right now in the engine, you can support PC, Mac, iOS, Android, PlayStation, and Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch as well. And all of them are cross-platform, so almost any device can talk to any other device, except for PlayStation and Xbox. And that's not because of the engine, it's something that they need to solve. Now, recently, Fortnite has entered a beta program where they're trying to do cross-platform between PlayStation 4 and Xbox. So let's see how that goes and hope for the best. Okay, and it's not just our games who helps us improve the engine, it's also the partners who are making games with the engine that pushes us to actually keep improving and adding features and fixing bugs. And we also have a lot of indies using the engine. So if you look at those games, we have Sandfox, we have Hellblade, uh, Pacific Rim. Sorry, Rim, not Pacific. Never mind. That's a movie. Um, yeah, so, and some people might feel a little bit intimidated when they see this tool actually being used for AAA studios and wonder if they're a small company or just one person, how can they make a game? So I just want to show you a small video of a game that's been made recently by a small team. I'm just going to skim through the video just to show you quickly a little bit of the graphics.
Down. And your tiny little dragon buddy. I really want you to...
Okay, so I hope you saw a lot of that video. Sorry, I'm a little bit short on time, so I'm trying to go over it quickly. So what's impressive about this video has been made by one developer, one Korean game designer. Now, it is worth noting this is the exception. It's not accepted from you to actually make a game on your own. You can, but imagine what a team of 3 people can do, for example. So now, a little bit of numbers. If we go over Steam sales, for example, in the last few years, the top 10 games, we have 3 games made with proprietary engine. So it's made in-house. 1 game made with Unity, and the 6 other games has been made using Unreal Engine. And if you actually take between the top 100, you'll find similar numbers as well. And that's the same for other platforms like mobile as well. Now, we are focusing on high-end games, the best graphics, the best tools, the best quality, whether you're indie or AAA. So the saturation of the market will only increase, and here where quality matters. Like if you look at the store right now, there are games you might download and they look like 20-ish years old just because of the art style. And most of the time I don't install those apps. It's just because it's graphics what brings the first appeal to the game, and then the gameplay that makes you stay. So not only quality will increase, but development speed will actually matter. So it's the first person who comes down to the market who can finish the game before the competitor does. And we're gonna see more high-end PC mobile-like games on mobile. There's also crossplay. So you will need the best tools, the most efficient ones, the one that helps you, the one that comes everything included. So for example, inside of Unreal, the last time I installed a plugin for Unreal was years ago. It's because each time I need a plugin, they somehow found a way to create their own solution and add it to the engine. Recently, they created a solution that replaced Simplygon. And that was a very expensive tool to optimize a lot of your assets. So it's like a one-click optimize entire level. And now it's included right inside of the engine for free. Now, what we want to do is give the engine the tool that AAA studios have access to indies and makes it more accessible and more feasible. We even have tutorials for you to learn, resources, forums, Answer Hub, and I'll go over those later in the presentation. And basically, Unreal Engine, it is free, though it is worth noting that there is a 5% royalty fee. And basically, we want to charge you for a game that's not making money. If you work on a game and you release it, and for some reason it doesn't do well, we don't want to charge you money. If you're working on something else, like education, we don't want to charge you money. If you're working on something that's not a game, like architecture, a client paid you to make a building and you want to visualize that building to him, it's also free. So, and basically, the more people that use the engine, the more opportunities there are. So there's a lot of demand. and I'll also go over those because Unreal Engine right now is not just being used for games. For example, architecture. We used to use a solution like V-Ray or Mentor or iRay, a lot of solution that includes, it's more accurate in rendering, but usually you'd make a tweak and you would wait for hours, sometimes even days, for you to see the result. And that takes a lot of time and iteration. Yes, the quality is better, though just losing a lot of time before seeing the change you're making can actually cost you a lot of money. So recently, a lot of architectural company has been using Unreal Engine because of the real-time rendering solution. I used to work in architecture, and then I tried Unreal, and then I couldn't go back to the previous rendering methods. Because even though it's real-time and I lose a little bit of quality, that was the case back then. Right now, there are no compromises that much. It just takes more time to actually make the game or the scene itself. But I would just lose a lot of time making tweaks. Now, since I can see the change in real time, the quality of my renders improved a lot because, okay, I can, instead of doing research and knowing that I need to put 0.1 value for the roughness, I can just put a parameter and real time change it until I see a value I like. We also have Unreal Studio, which is a solution optimized for architectural company that gives them access to tools that help them import all of their assets right from 3D Max. And of course, there's a lot of other tools. Also, the automotive industry is using Unreal to create car configurator. So someone who would like to buy a car, he would like to see it from the inside, he would like to change the wheels, the color, he can customize the entire car and buy it on the spot. Also, they're using it in entertainment. So this is a video of Game of Thrones where they use it to map the scene, and it helped them very quickly to visualize how it's going to look like, where they place the actor, the dragon, and then they just created in another software the end result, basically. There's also Safari, so I'm just gonna show a video of that as well. And what's interesting about Safari is it's an entire series made in Unreal, completely in Unreal.
The Safari project is, to my knowledge, the first broadcast television show that's being rendered completely in the Unreal game engine. I had a pretty healthy skepticism when
one episode.
Like 120?
1 second.
effects are pretty much real time.
The fact that you go into lighting and effects and rendering and compositing in one package and that you'd be able to see results in real time, that basically opened up a number of advantages to the studio.
So I'm just gonna give a quick recap. And to use the show, what they managed to do is release more episodes because they render quickly. So in the same day, they can finish an entire episode, test it, watch it, iterate on it, and then release it. And the team became smaller because they needed less render engineers or lighting artists, for example. The team was smaller and they were creating more, and it was more efficient for them. Now, it did change a little bit the workflow, the usual workflow they used to, but other than that, it was an actual win for them. Another scene is actually from Star Wars. So they were doing a quick experiment to see how it's going to look like, and they found out the result was actually really good. They ended up leaving the scene inside of the movie. So inside of the movie, there's currently a few seconds rendered completely inside of Unreal. And so there's also real-time ray tracing, which is RTX, technology newly released by NVIDIA. And this actually fills the gap between traditional rendering and real-time rendering by providing way for light to bounce off surfaces and capture more realistic reflections. Though this should make your workflow much faster working on movies or architecture as well, because you don't have to rely on the previous old tricks for capturing reflections ahead of time to gain some performance. So I'll also show another demo.
What's the story with all the elevators lately? I heard Kylo Ren destroyed the one over in D sector.
If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Hoth. What? What? think she heard us? Yeah, I think she heard us. At least we blend in for once.
Okay, so this scene was actually made in the engine, and it looks movie quality. So this is where the industry is heading right now, going for real-time rendering. Okay. Also, we have a lot of AR, so also another demo, which
There's one of these that I think you just really need to see live. Now, Wingnut AR is director Peter Jackson's new production company. It's dedicated to producing AR content. We all know Peter Jackson from his incredible cinematic work on movies like the Lord of the Rings series, but he's now really excited about AR. And to show you what he has in the works, I'm thrilled to introduce Wingnut AR's creative director, Alistair Cool. Alistair.
Walk our content onto the surface. And since this is augmented reality, you folks are all in the shot too. This is all rendered in real time using the power of Unreal Engine 4. We're at a remote outpost on a desolate world where supplies are scarce. Oh, I think they're going to regret attacking this outpost.
okay. So augmented reality is really hot right now. They're just not just using it for mobile. There's also for League of Legends during the tournament, they flew a giant dragon over the crowd. So basically, it scales from mobile to all the way to high equipment cameras. And also, we do support Magic Leap. So you can also, in the launcher, download a special version of Unreal Engine where can you work on Magic Leap. Another problem that we usually face in games is realistic humans. Usually when I see a trailer of video games, the humans always look a little bit creepy and non-realistic. So we're working on solving this, and this is the latest result we had.
Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace. From day to day, to the last syllable recorded time.
And this is also can be done in real time. So another demo where the actor is acting in another room while this character is mimicking the exact movement.
I'm Siren, and I'm a digital human. I was created by an international team of artists and engineers who wanted to challenge our ideas of what a synthetic human could be. I've got state-of-the-art real-time graphics and an unprecedented level of detail in my eyes, skin, and hair. Cool, right?
Okay. And so for the demo from Andy Serkis that I just showed, you can get it also from the launcher. You can dissect it, you can learn from it, and you can use some of the material inside of your project to achieve a similar result. Okay. And this is just a long list of other people using Unreal in creative ways other than games. Great. So you want to learn the engine, and how can we help you with that? First, you can start with Unreal Academy. So we launched a new platform full of tutorials for you to start from almost nothing. So if you have zero knowledge or previous knowledge about Unreal or game development, you can find a lot of courses that are useful to you. Also, there's a course that I personally enjoyed, like I've watched it a few months ago, and I've been in the industry for quite some time now, and I still benefit from them. It was explaining how rendering goes. So if you're a technical artist and you're wondering how does the engine actually render a single frame and how's the hardware work behind it, I would highly recommend you check out that tutorial. We also have a lot of assets for you to use in our game. So if you're a programmer and you don't have an artist, there's a high chance you're going to find an asset that's free for you to use in your project that's very similar to what you're trying to achieve. We have recently received 12 million worth of assets from Paragon, including environment, animation, sound, and characters. Also, we previously released the Infinity Blade asset, a very highly optimized. They were they were highly optimized for mobile, basically. So they would run on any platform right out of the box. And there's so many more other assets and examples inside of the launcher. So to access them, all you have to do is go to the launcher and then go to the marketplace and hit the free tab, and you're going to find a huge selection of assets for users in your project. We also have educational project for you to dissect. We have the RPG example, a full RPG game running on mobile using Blueprint and C++. It's documented and commented, so you can easily access it and learn from it. As well, there's Robo Recall, a match 3 game, and so many other demo projects. So now, 10 years ago, making a game was very challenging. So if you just make that game and release it, odds are it's gonna do good. Now the problem is there's a lot of games, and to make a game is very easy. So you need to stand out, and to earn money, it is an exception right now. So you have to work on marketing, you have to work on self-publishing or talking to a publisher, and etc. Right. So we work with a lot of game developers and publishers and investors, and we would love to put you in touch. So if you're working on a game using Unreal and you need to get in touch with a publisher or an investor, also reach out. We will be more than happy to connect you to someone. And we also have the Dev Grant. So if you're not familiar with Dev Grant, if you're doing something cool with the engine, we would love to know about it. You can apply for free for the Dev Grant. And every few months, we select some of the developers and we give them a grant between 5 to 35K. And there's no string attached. So you can use the money to do whatever you want. We don't take anything in return, except for the 5% royalty, of course. And basically, yeah, we just want to help you to finish your game. Now, ideally, I would recommend applying for this like whenever you have your game and you need to finish that prototype, but you can't get an investor yet because the prototype is not done, and you're stuck in that loop where you need small amount for you to progress with your prototype. But then again, you need to have a very interesting concept at the beginning. So you need to show the graphics, the gameplay itself in your application to stand out. Or for example, if you release your game and then suddenly you realize you're a little bit short on money, and you need that extra 20K for marketing for it to succeed, you should also consider applying to this. Also, you can apply as much as you want. Just make sure you make some change before applying, so don't send the same game over and over again. Okay. We also help you promote the game, so we can promote it on our blogs, YouTube, Twitch, other social media accounts. We also have multiple hashtags running during the week. We have sizzle reels every once in a while on YouTube. What else? There's also the NVIDIA Edge program. So if your game looks really good, all you have to do is tag NVIDIA and tag us in your post, and that's it. You enter to run at 1080 Ti, and each month we select three participants. Okay, I already went over this one. Right. And we also host a lot of events, sponsor events, help developers showcase their game. We know it's very hard to be an indie. You don't always have the budget to actually show your game at events, so we try to sponsor them. We also had Unreal Fest Europe this year at Germany, where we had around 500 developers. It was in Berlin. And it was our first event hosted completely by us. We also try to be in mixers whenever we are in the area. There are a lot of competitions that we also help with, which is developing beyond the competition, which is you can win $500,000, and it's running between Jan 2017 and 2018. This year at GDC, we actually had a huge booth, almost the same size of our own booth next to it. And we flew in developers. We covered their costs to go and show their games over there. And yeah, that's basically it. Also, there's EGX London, the Indie Mega Booth. We sponsored that as well. Develop Brighton, Nordic Games, and also E3. So if you're working on a game, just reach out. If you need anything, let us know. We'd love to help. So here's just a quick recap. So the engine, it is free, but there is a 5% royalty fee. For non-games, it's 0%. And you have access to the source code, so if you run into a bug or anything, you can just fix it yourself or find someone in the community, since the engine is very accessible and there's always someone who can fix it for you. You get access to everything, even the platform Xbox and PlayStation. You just have to send us an email to make sure you're a registered developer. And if you think the 5% is not ideal for you, you can always reach out and we can try to negotiate something else. So the 5% is more like the starting point, which works for most indies. However, if you're a little bit bigger studio, have something else in mind, just reach out and we'll see what I can do. Okay. So again, this is my contact in case you have any questions. I'm gonna also stay here for a few minutes. And yeah, thank you.